Yo, what's going on, guys? And I wanted to talk about the Sacramento Kings. And I think the Kings got better. And last year, the Kings, some people would be like, well, they took a step back. Well, Mike Brown said that he was willing to give up being the league's best offense to get better at defense. And they got better at defense. And now I thought the deal that they did to get DeMar DeRozan was the best possible deal that they could have done without overextending their hand. And I still think they have enough assets to go and get themselves a guy like using Kevin Huerter to go out and get a Kyle Kuzma. Because if they can go into the playoffs with 3 20-point scores in DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox, and Domantas Sabonis, you have Keegan Murray. And if you can get a guy like Kyle Kuzma in there, have DeMar be your shooting guard, Keegan at small forward, Kyle at power forward, Domantas at center, or just have Kyle or Keegan off the bench and DeMar small forward, and then Keon Ellis is the shooting guard. You get what I mean. But I think this was a team that raised their ceiling without overpaying. And I want to hear your thoughts before we continue today's video. What do you guys expect from the Sacramento Kings this season? Do you think they're a top 6 seed like I do? And do you think that this move for DeMar DeRozan was worth it? I just think there wasn't really any other move. They didn't overpay the guy, and they didn't give up too much to get him. You can't really be mad at that. And they were able to move off of Sasha Vinzikov, who didn't work, and Davion Mitchell, again, another guy who didn't work. And currently, the Sacramento Kings, going into the 2024 season, De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis with the starting lineup. You have Alex Len, Trey Lyles, Doug McDermott, Malik Monk's the 6th man, Keon Ellis, Jordan McLaughlin, and Colby Jones as the guys off the bench. We're still waiting for Devin Carter to come back. I know Orlando Robinson got hurt. And then they have 3 two-ways in Isaiah Crawford, Mason Jones, and Isaac Jones. Isaac Jones and Isaiah Crawford, I both saw them at Portsmouth. Those guys are fun. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I do think this is a top 6 seed. I really think this all comes down to, can De'Aaron Fox take that next step? Can Domantas Sabonis become? I mean, he's already like baby Jokic, but like, can he like have that impact in winning? I think is the biggest question. I think there's a lot of talent here. I think it's weird that Mike Brown didn't get the extension. I think this is a pivotal year just for them to figure out if they're stagnant or if they're working towards something.
They went 46-36. They were 9th in the Western Conference. And for me, when we look at the Sacramento Kings, they signed Malik Monk to a 4 years, $78 million deal. So they're paying him now $17 million a year. DeMar's only making 23.4. Kevin Huerter's making 16.8. Sabonis is on that big old deal making 40.5, and then De'Aaron's making 34. So they have money committed. They got young guys. They brought him depth. And I think, obviously, re-signing Malik Monk and then orchestrating the DeMar DeRozan trade is obviously something that people might think is aggressive, as now San Antonio has the right to swap first in 2031, and the Kings also traded 2 seconds to Chicago. Sacramento could enter luxury tax for the first time since 2003-04 if Sabonis makes the All-Star team. And the front office has shown that despite winning 95 games in the past 2 seasons, they're not fully content with running back the same team and having continuity. I think the biggest question mark this offseason that we had was Kevin Huerter, if they were going to try to move off of him. And I don't think there was any way to upgrade from him. And I think if they can re-sign him for a cheaper deal, he's not bad. And if he can regain his form from 2 seasons ago, or even back what he was doing in Atlanta, I think a lot of things can improve. I really do think right now Sacramento, they got, again, there wasn't a 20-point per game score. I think DeMar was better than Zach LaVine. That was going to be available. I know it hurts their floor spacing, 3-point shooting, and the Sabonis and DeMar, the spacing. I understand the concerns, and defensively as well, there's other concerns. But there was no other player who could have 3 isolation scorers, 3 guys who can take over a game. They needed that. DeMar DeRozan is an upgrade over Keegan Murray. I mean, not Keegan Murray. I mean, yes, Keegan Murray right now. Keegan Murray, they do believe is going to be good, and they're probably expecting Keegan Murray to take the jump, but over Harrison Barnes, who they traded away. Now, I do think that looking at this team, is DeMar DeRozan in this team good enough? Like, they got rid of Sasha, Davion Mitchell, Chris Duarte, and Harrison Barnes. As we've said, DeRozan, McDaniels, Carter, Jordan McLaughlin. They did bring in some defense, and I think the offensive prowess that DeRozan brings should fit well with Sabonis and Fox and Malik Monk. And I think they brought in guys like McDaniels. And I know they got rid of Davion Mitchell, who's one of their better defenders. And they brought in Carter, who, and even year before with the draft with Colby Jones, I think they've addressed the fact that they know offense is something that they're good at, but defense is what they need to improve at. Isaiah Crawford, Jalen McDaniels, Colby Jones, Keon Ellis, I would say, and Devin Carter are all great defenders. And arguably Devin Carter, Keon Ellis are 2 point of attack ball stoppers. Jalen McDaniels has flashed it. I mean, we all know who his brother is, even though I believe Jalen's older. I just think you look at this team and you know, all right, they've been trying to put it together. And I think when you look at DeRozan on a team like the Kings, you can't help but be happy to think it was a good fit at this point in his career instead of being. And it's a 3-year, $76 million deal. He's a guy who averaged 24 points, 4 rebounds. I like the idea. I know that people are going to be upset that, this is going to be something that's, did the Kings get better or worse? I think the Kings definitely improved. Despite being older, I think they got, again, DeRozan is one of, if not the most effective mid-range scorer in the league. And he's a clutch player. Yeah, he's not a better defender than Barnes, though he's better offensively. And the spacing is going to be off unless Sabonis starts attempting threes or DeRozan starts to hit them at a higher clip. I think that Barnes' three-point shooting is going to be overrated, and that DeMar DeRozan being a not super big floor spacer in Sabonis either is going to be something that people are going to get stuck on. But DeRozan's a legit all-star, and I know he's not what he used to be. And the problem is the Kings, you could argue, are too small, or that they don't have a rim protector, and that they might get dominated on the boards. But I think DeMar will help them, especially when the game slows down in the fourth quarters. And I think Barnes at this point was an overrated role player, and that's why they got rid of him. And obviously DeMar DeRozan is an upgrade from Barnes, and it wasn't like they were going to get themselves Paul George. I think DeMar DeRozan's better than Klay Thompson, and he's not a first option. He's probably a second, maybe even a really good third option at this point. But DeRozan's the best move, and getting him to take a cheaper contract than what Paul George was demanding, I think it was just good management. Now, outside of that, first off, it's a $140 million difference. So I think the whole thing, you're looking at this, it's you got yourself job security, and you got yourself somebody who's going to be an effective field goal shooter. So I do get excited to see that. I think they pointed this all into the right direction. And that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. If you made it to the end of the video, what do you guys think so far of what they were able to do and why? But besides that, yeah, that's going to be my video for today. Hit that like and subscribe button if you guys did enjoy.